Okay, so for Christmas I got myself a new toy. It's a Presto pressure canner, 23 quarts. I have not used it yet. This is going to be the first time, and I'm canning 9 pints of beer brats, and I'll walk you through it as we go along. First thing is to get out the canner and read the instructions. Okay, here it is. It's out of the box and it's assembly required. I hate assembly required. But we got our instruction book, our warnings of what not to do, the actual pressure canner itself, the trivet that goes on the bottom so the jars don't touch the bottom. This is the handle for the lid, the pressure gauge, and I don't see the weight. I'll have to look in the box. I think this is the lid. It's got where the steam comes out. This is to let you know it's up to pressure. This is a safety thing in case you over process and it builds up too much pressure. This will explode, pop out, so the canner does not explode. So anyways, I'll get back to you after I get her assembled. Okay, we're back. I got it assembled. Got my gauge on. My weight, 15-pound weight is what it's set for. First thing it says to do is to take out the gasket and clean it with soapy hot water. The same for the lid, trivet, and inside the pot for the first time. Then after that, I've got to put a light coating of oil on these things so it doesn't stick apparently when you try to take it off when done cooking. So I'll get this all clean, assembled, put on the stove with 3 quarts of water in it, and then start packing my jars, and we'll be back shortly. Okay everybody, we are back. I got everything cleaned down with soap, water, dried, and I've got my 3 quarts of water plus a little bit extra in the pot because it's going to process for 90 minutes. And over here we have the Brats that were on sale, really cheap. So I got 30 of them, or 30 Brats, individual Brats. And I got my pint jars. There's going to be 3 per jar. And the canner only holds 9 of these, so I'm going to keep 3 out and have them for dinner tonight. On these jars, these are pint jars with the small regular size lids. Ideally I would use wide mouth, but I don't have any available at the moment. But I have 2 cases of these. I ordered 2 cases of wide mouth pints, and Walmart sent me 2 cases of regular sized pints. So I called them and they said they didn't want them back, just to keep them, and they sent me my 2 cases of wide mouth jars. So I ended up with 4 cases of pint jars, and they were like $4.99 a case. They were on sale at the time, so what is that, like $2.50 or something a case? That's awesome. Well, anyways, I'm gonna put the Brats into the jars and then stick them in the canner. I gotta get that thing started heating up, and this is going to be a cold pack method. These will not be cooked, and they will just be stuck into the jar. And in the pressure canner, you do not even have to sterilize the lids, the rings, or anything, but you do have to heat the lids in hot water to soften the ring and the lid. that's a must. So we'll get started and see how it goes. Okay, we're back and we're ready to start packing. I already got one jar filled, but let me walk you through what I've done. I've added 2 tablespoons of white vinegar to the canner. I've also got it heated up, not boiling. Well, it is starting to boil. I'll turn it down so it's not quite boiling. As we get these things ready, we'll put them in and then we'll turn it up so it starts boiling. Over here, I've got my lids and they are in hot water. I've got my rings ready. I've unwrapped all the brats. They're ready to go. And I got my jars ready to go. And I want to show you how hard it is to can cold packed brats. Got 1. We got 2. And move them out of the way there. Hang on. And I just stuffed the 3rd one in there. Okay, so now we got 3. That one's kind of bent over. I'm gonna pull the top up a little bit. Okay. We do not want these coming and touching the lid, so we got to make sure they stay down away from the lid. But I've got 3 in here, and they're gonna cook in the container here, and they will be fully cooked when done. The liquids will, you don't put any liquids in the jar because these will make their own juice, and it'll be probably 3/4 full of juice when it's done. And the good thing about this is it'll be like a quick meal. If some night I'm tired, I just pop it open and these things are already done. I can eat them like that, or I can throw them on the grill and warm them up and get them a little bit of a sear on the outside. And also when I go camping or hunting, we'll be gone for like a week, 2 weeks at a time. These will be already canned and sealed. I do not have to put them in an ice chest and go to town every other day to buy ice to keep the meats cold. So that is one of the good things. So let me walk you through what we do now. Okay, we got the sausages or the brats in the container, and over here I've got a bowl of water with the vinegar in it, and that is to help cut down any grease that has gotten on the edges of the jar, so it does make a good seal. So you just wipe around the, oh, this is hard. Wipe around the edge of the jar, get it off, and also dip your finger in the water and run it around the edge. Make sure there is no nicks or cracks or anything like that. Then you come over to the lid department, get your magic little magnet puller outer thing, put the lid on, kind of center it, get a ring, screw it on till you hit resistance, and then I got to set the camera down. I think when it hits resistance, then you give it a little extra twist. You don't want to completely tight this, crank this down, because it's got to, when it heats up, it's got to let out air out of this jar, and then as it cools down, it'll seal and it'll be vacuum sealed to keep any bacteria, molds, stuff like that out. So next, all there is to do is put this in the canning bath, and I will do, or I mean in the canner. Then I will do that after I get all these packed, and I will be back. I got 9 here in the bottom. I tried to fit the 10th one in there, and it went in, but the sides of the jars were touching, and that will slow down the progress of heating up the Brats, so I didn't want to chance them not getting heated properly and cooked correctly. And then I remembered, oh yeah, this thing holds 18 pints. So I went and got my other trivet, and I'm going to throw it on top of this one. And I went ahead and jarred up the remaining 3 Brats. And I am going to put some jars around here so it doesn't, well, actually it's not in the water, so I don't think it's going to fall. I think it'll be okay. I'll just put the lid on and go ahead and process it. That's the next step. I'll see you then. Okay, I got the lid on. You guys would not believe the trouble I went through to get this lid on. I tried and tried and tried and couldn't get it to go on. So I read the instructions and it went on in like 3 seconds. Anyways, I got the heat turned up on this baby. Now we gotta wait for it to start blowing steam from this vent. And once it does have a big steady steam coming out, we're gonna time it for 10 minutes and then we can put the weight on it. And this is a 15-pound weight. That's what they sent. And then we'll watch the gauge and make sure it stays above 10. And ideally, probably I'm going to go for 11, 12, just to make sure it doesn't drop down below that 10 mark. Because if it, at any time in the 90 minutes of processing, it drops below that 10, you got to start timing again after you build the pressure back up to the proper amount. So it is very important to watch this gauge and make sure that that needle stays above 10. So anyways, I will bring you back once it starts steaming and go from there. Okay, we're back. I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll try to, there you go. See that big old steady pile of steam coming out of there? That's what we're wanting. Now we got to count 10 minutes, and what it's doing is evacuating all the air out of the canner, and it's just going to be steam, and it's going to get up to normal boiling water is 212 degrees. This will get it up to 240 degrees with 10 pounds of pressure, or the weight if it was 10 pounds, but I have a 15-pound weight, and I think it was 260 or 280 degrees that it gets up to, and that's plenty fine. It'll kill everything. Botulism is killed just under the 240 degrees, so that is the toughest one that you've got to be aware of. So we're going well above its killing range, and I'm going to shut this off and start the timer for 10 minutes and then put the weight back on. And once I do put the weight on, we'll watch the gauge and adjust the stove setting to maintain above 10 pounds of pressure. Okay, this bad boy has been steaming for 10 minutes. All the air should be out of the canner now, and we're going to put the weight on. Hopefully not get burnt. Ooh! Okay, now we have to sit here and wait for the gauge to get above 10 pounds of pressure, and then turn down the heat accordingly, and I will get you back on once it gets up to pressure. I am pressure canning for the very first time. I got my first batch of beer brats in pint jars. There's 3 in a jar. They were on sale, so I got 6 packs, which is 30 beer brats, and I stuffed 3 per pint jar, and I ended up with 10 jars. So right now I'm learning to adjust the stove to see what the actual setting I need to maintain just 10 to 11 pounds of pressure, and it's got to run for 90 minutes like that. So I got to sit here for a little bit and make sure that it's going to stay in that range with the setting I have on the stove. So I'm going to be busy for the next 2 hours. Okay, and we're back. We hit 90-minute mark, and I shut the stove off, and we had to wait till the safety valve went back down. When there's pressure inside the canner, it pops up. When it goes down, there's no pressure. It took about 30 minutes for it to finally go down, and now it's time to take off the weight, and then we have to wait 10 more minutes before we can take the lid off. So I'm going to remove it. So okay, 10 minutes from now we get to open the pot. Okay, this next part it's been 10 minutes without the weight. This next part, I got to take the lid off the canner and open it away from me so the hot steam doesn't get me. So I cannot hold it and do that at the same time, so I'm setting it over here. So here we go. Maybe not. Ooh, that's hot. Dang, it's hot. Okay, it just slightly went. Eee! Oh wow, yeah, that's a lot of steam. Dang. Oh wow, it looks so cool. But I can't show you. Yes, I can bring it over. Hang on. Let me flip this around. It won't do it. Okay. I don't know if you can see down in there. There's the 10th one that I did. It's looks really good. It's about 3/4 of the way filled with juices that it let out. They looked cooked, and in about 5 minutes I can take these out and set them on the table, and then they have to sit there for 24 hours. I will, after I get them out and set them on the table, I will get another video of them. Okay, and we're back. I got them all out of the canner. We got 10 of them, and they're already popping, sealing. When I'm filming this, you'll probably hear it. Just keep hearing the snap, crackle, pops. And these things are still boiling. Look at that. Dang. All those nice juices. There's 3 per jar. These are pint jars, and they are looking good. I think they're all going to seal. Several of them has sealed already. So anyways, that's how you do it.